Now, imagine going to bed or watching TV as a family, then boom, the entire house caves in. These are kind of concerns people in Ekurhuleni are faced with daily. Some have even been relocated given the extent of the damage and fears of further harm. Calls are now mounting for assistance as the problem seems to persist. Manager of the Engineering, Geology and Geohazards Unit and the Council for Geoscience, Willem Meinjtes, joins us now to discuss this further. Willem, good afternoon, and thank you very much for your time and your patience at this hour here on today. Yesterday we were reporting about several families in two sections of Katlehong, and you can visibly see what's happened to their homes. And in a report by Meinjtes, which we just played a short while ago, things are looking very bad. Is Ekurhuleni susceptible? Is it an area that will always be susceptible to sinkholes because of the mining in that part of Gauteng?
Yes, so a lot of the phenomenon that we are seeing in terms of these sinkholes developing, it's related to the geological nature of the area. So typically underlain by dolomitic rocks. So it's a specific rock type that occurs in the area. And there are some natural references, maybe, for context to the viewers. If you go to the Sterkfontein area, for instance, Cradle of Humankind, you get the natural cave systems in those areas as well. But then a lot of these developed areas are also underlain by these deep cave systems. And then when you have these heavy rains and things like that, typically that's when we can get sinkholes that do develop.
So it's not just due to mining; it's also due to the geological type of landscape.
That is correct, yes.
Now, the community is telling us yesterday that they are fearful this may increase, and we've seen houses that were affected before, they were evacuated, and some of them are back, and more houses are being affected. So is this likely to worsen over time because it's a geological factor?
So a lot of these areas where there is dolomitic rock can either be prone to sinkhole formation. So in general terms, we would refer to that as good dolomite. So it's actually developable land on dolomitic areas. But then there are definitely those areas that are more susceptible, where the chances of getting sinkholes to form in those areas are quite substantially higher. And there are protocols and measures in place to try and mitigate for those and to restrict certain types of development. But over the last couple of years, at least for the last 5 or so years, there seemed to be an increase in some of these geological related sinkholes that are forming on the dolomitic areas.
Is there a solution, Willem? Is there a solution? One of the councillors speaking to my colleague Meinjtes yesterday saying they've been engaging with the municipal authorities to try and find a solution for them because, many of them don't have any other house except the houses that are currently in those sections in Katlehong, in Ekurhuleni, that are being affected. Is there a permanent solution here?
So to deal with dolomite matters, it's one of the primary solutions is to have what we refer to as dolomite risk management and mitigation strategies. So I know there's been a lot of talk about different strategies, but scientifically, through research that was done, it was indicated that the occurrences of sinkholes can be reduced by up to 96% if a lot of those mitigation measures are put in place. So it's very basic things such as ensuring stormwater drains away properly, wet services doesn't leak, there's adequate provisioning for the types of land uses that are being put in force in specific areas that are more affected on dolomite than others. So those are some of the typical mitigation measures that can be put in place. And then once, when disasters do happen and there are sinkholes that develop, unfortunately, at that point in time, you will have to either mitigate the problem, so fix the sinkholes, or if it's an intolerable hazard rating, alternative solutions will have to be sought in terms of resettling communities if the problem can't be fixed, where those sinkholes have become, to that extent, intolerable.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Willem Meinjtes, Manager of the Engineering, Geology and Geohazards Unit at the Council for Geoscience.